Okay, Algebra 1 fans, our topic for today, this is Notes 11-2. We're continuing with data. Today we're going to talk about how we can represent it, a couple ways that you can graph it and draw it, stem and leaf plots, histograms, and what we call dot plots. Before we begin, let me give you your joke of the day. I wouldn't buy anything with Velcro. It's a total ripoff. So our objectives for today after the lesson, students should be able to 1. Interpret stem and leaf plots, histograms, and dot plots, and 2. Construct stem and leaf plots, histograms, and dot plots. So let's start with stem and leaf and histograms. And so we're going to start with an example. This is a stem and leaf plot over here. Let's read what this is about. So number 1, the following stem and leaf plot shows the ages of signers of the Declaration of Independence. Okay, so back in 1776, this represents the ages of all the people that signed the document. Now, the reason we call this a stem and leaf plot, the numbers on the left side, so we draw these two lines, a vertical line and a horizontal line. This is the description of the information, so the ages of the signers of Declaration of Independence. The left side is what we call the stems. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then these numbers here are what we call the leaves. So all of these here are what we call leaves. And this is a stem and leaf plot. Now what's really important is at the bottom of it you see 3/1 equals 31 years. This is the key. This tells you how to read the data. So when I look at 2 as my stem and 6 as my leaf, that means 26. So this person here was 26 years old. When I look at this 4 right here, that person was 34 years old. When I look at this person here, they are 62 years old. So it's only the last digit that we're writing down as the leaves. So in some ways, you may look at this and say, wow, that's a lot of numbers. And by the way, there's a total of 56 ages here. I counted them, okay? And you would have to count them as well. There's 56 ages, but we saved ourselves a little bit of time. Instead of saying 26, 26, 29, we wrote the 2 one time, and then we could just write the ones digit. So these are tens digits, and these are the ones digits. Okay, so we're going to use this to answer some questions here. And one more thing, as you look at this, you can see that certain sections are longer than other sections. So these are like decades. These are the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and so on. Notice that the most people that signed the Declaration of Independence were in their 40s. Okay, and then you have the 30s. And you'll notice at the younger and the older sections that has the fewest number of people. Okay, which probably makes sense. I mean, we didn't have teenagers signing the Declaration of Independence, so you don't see a 1 here, you don't see a 0 here. Most of the people were between 30 and 57, so between 30 and 60 basically. Okay, so how old, we're going to take part A here, we're going to answer the questions. How old was the youngest signer? Well, the youngest signer would have been in their 20s, and you can say 26, 26, 29. Well, 26 is the youngest. So we're going to write down 26 there. You'll also notice that the numbers here are in order chronologically. So 30, 31, 33, 33, 33, 34, 34. We want to do that because to be able to calculate median and modes and all those, it's going to be a heck of a lot easier if we've done that. So the youngest was 26. The oldest, well, here's 7, and then this is 0, so that means 70. These are the tens, so that would be 70 years old. I think that was Benjamin Franklin. I'm not positive about that, but that's my guess. Now, what is the median age? Now, remember in the last lesson, we talked about median. That is the middle. If we were to write down all of these numbers on a single line, which number would be in the middle? Now, before you think to yourself, oh my gosh, I have to rewrite this, no, you don't. And the reason we don't have to is because these are already in order. The idea of the median, remember, is we cross off the ends, the biggest and the smallest, until we're left with the middle number. We can do that here. The biggest age, the oldest, is 70, and the youngest is 26. So I'm going to cross one off the ends. Then we have 66 is the next oldest. The next youngest is again 26. 65, 29. 63, 30. Now, one thing you can start doing, you can speed up the process. For example, I see 3 numbers here. So if I cross off the 3 older, then I can cross off 3 younger. I know that I'm not close to the middle yet, so I don't need to worry about accidentally crossing off a number that I shouldn't. So you can, if I want to say 1, 2, I can do 3 at a time. So 3 older, 3 younger. 3 older, 3 younger. I'll do these 4 here. 4 older, 4 younger. Let's do 3 again. 3 older, 3 younger. Okay, now we're in the 40s. I think I'll go 3 again. 3 older, 3 younger. Let's go by 2s now. So 46, 45 is older. 41, 42 is younger. Let me go by 1s. 45, 42, 45 again, 42. Now, we have 2 numbers left. Now, that's not 4 and 5, that's 44 and 45. If we have 2 numbers left, what we have to do is take the average of those 2. We take their mean, so we add 44 and 45 and divide that by the number of numbers, which is 2. We took 2 of them. And this would be 89 divided by 2, but we'll write that as a decimal, which is 44.5. So the median is 44.5. Now you'll notice I was very careful. I was very systematic with this. So you don't want to miss a number or else you're going to get the wrong answer. Now, part D, what is the average age? So now we're talking mean. Well, unfortunately, there's no easy way of doing this. We have to add up all of these numbers. Now, on a quiz or a test, I'm not going to give you a problem with that much information. Okay, so if you do this, well, starting with 26 and 26 and 29, what you might want to do is add up all the 20s and get a number, which is 81. Add up the 30s, 40s, and so on, and then add those up. Now, I've already told you that we divide by 56. One way that you can kind of simplify this process, notice that you have 2 26s. So I can say 2 times 26 plus 29. That's still my numbers in the 20s. When I get to the 40s, for example, so I have 40, and then I have 3 41s. So that's 3 times 41. That's like 41 plus 41 plus 41. I have 3 42s. And I can keep going from that, okay? Now, to save you a little bit of time, I have already added these up because I'm nice. And if you want to check me and see if I've made a mistake, by all means, go ahead. But the sum is 2,486. There are 56 numbers. So this is the total age. If I add up all the ages, I get this. Divide by 56. Now, we're going to get a decimal most likely. We get 44 point. I'm going to round to the 10th place. Now the 10th place is 3, but the next digit is a 9, which means I have to round up the 3. If this is 5 or higher, I must round. So I'm going to say 44.4. So what was the average age? 44.4 years old, which is very close to our median age. That's not always the case. but in this situation it is. Part E, what is the range of the ages of the signers? Range is the biggest minus the smallest. Well, the oldest person, the biggest age was 70. The youngest was 26. And if we subtract those, we get 44. And the last part of this, what is the mode of the signers? Now, mode is the number repeated the most. Now, when we look at this, there are two 26s. There are 3 of these 33s. Notice we have 4 35s. Now, I don't know if that's the answer, but I'm going to circle that for now. Okay, 2 of these, 2 of these, 2 of these. 3 of these. 3. 1, 2, 3. That's 4. 6, 6, 6, 6 is 4 of those. 7, 8, 9. 0, 0, 0, 0. 4 of those. And 2, 2, 1, 1, 2. Okay, so we actually have 4 numbers, 4 values that are each repeated 4 times. So the mode would be all of them. It would be not 5, that's 35. Okay, remember what we're finding here is ages. This number represents 45, and then 46, and then 50. Okay, so with these, you got to really take your time on them. Now, using the data in number 1, draw a histogram. A histogram is kind of like a bar graph. And now this is left blank, but we're going to fill this in together here. At the bottom, we're going to put the ages of the signers. I'm going to count by 10 here. So we're going to make each section a decade. So I'll say this is from 0 to 9. Obviously, that will be blank. 10 to 19, the teens, the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60, 70 to 79, and then at that point we're good. So if you're looking at these tick marks here, that would be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and 80. Now, the ages, so that's going to be our bottom axis. And then the vertical axis will be the frequency, or the number of signers. So that will be the number of signers. Okay, now, coming back to the stem and leaf plot, the advantage to the histogram is that we don't need every individual number. We're not going to plot every number. We're going to plot each decade. So for example, in the 20s, we have 3 of those. 3 people were in their 20s. Now here, this was 17. So we had 17 signers in their 30s. And then this would be 17, 18. This would be 19. This is the most. So we have to decide how we want to number this. It would be nice to go by 2s, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, but that's not enough. So let's go by 3s. Okay, and that'll cover everybody that we have. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start with the 20s. We had 3 people in their 20s. So we're going to come down here. Here is 20 to 29. And we're going to go up to 3. I'm going to draw a little dotted line here. If you use a ruler, that's probably the best way to go. I'll use a dotted line to approximate. So there's 3 people in their 20s, and I'm going to shade that in. So from 20 to 29, we're not including 30 yet, okay? So the next column will be from 30 to 39. So in the stem and leaf plot, we counted 17 leaves. That's 17 people. So we're going to go up to 17 now. So from here, we're going to kind of go up like this. Now 17 is between 15 and 18, but it's closer to 18. So I'm going to approximate like this. Okay, and then I'll draw this up. Try to go as straight as I can. All right, and then we'll shade. Okay, then the 40s was the biggest category. That was 19. What I would do now is pause this video and go ahead and do this yourself, and then unpause and see if we agree. 19, it would be about here. Okay, again, if you like to shade everything in, make it look nicer, that's fine. The 50s, come back up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's 10 of those. 2, 4, there's 6 of those, and then there's one person in their 70s. Okay, so just to speed it up here, we'll go 10. And then we have 6. 6 is nice because that's perfect. And then we have 1. What a histogram does, it's a different way of looking at your data. Okay, this makes it a little bit more obvious the way that these are distributed, the way the numbers are laid out. This is one way to do it, but this can be overwhelming to look at all the digits. So this is kind of a nicer way. Oh wow, we can see right away that the 40s was the big category and the 30s. So most people were here. We had some people that were quite old and we had some people that were quite young, but most of the people are in this area. And that is the end of part 1.